What's going on, everybody? Now, this next story is out of San Bernardino, California. A San Bernardino, California deputy threatens to make up charges against Duncan Hicks. Now, this is the story. Duncan Hicks was assigned of a Victorville sheriff's station this month to file a report. Unsatisfied with how the receptionist and deputies would handle it, Hicks reported the incident on his cell phone. Take a look.
I'm about getting tired of you, and you're about to go to jail, just so you know.
What am I going to jail for?
I'll create something, you understand? You'll go to jail, do you understand that?
Only on two, a San Bernardino deputy is under investigation after he's caught on video threatening to create charges against a Victorville man.
Yeah, Duncan Hicks captured that disturbing encounter on his cell phone.
Well, tonight the sheriff says his deputy was out of line. CBS 2's Crystal Cruz is live in Victorville and shows us what else was captured on video. Crystal.
Hi, yeah, this man, he says he was threatened, disrespected, and now he'd like to see this deputy fired for what he caught on video right here at this station.
What is this?
That's the incident report number.
Oh, this is the number.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
Duncan Hicks was inside the Victorville police station this month to file a police report. Unsatisfied with how the receptionist and deputy were handling it, Hicks recorded part of the incident.
He was very disrespectful to me, very rude to me.
Hicks says this was his third time here and also called once to file a few custody disputes with his child's mother, and says this time the deputy refused to write his report down and then took it a step further.
This is not explaining the incident, sir.
Okay, Duncan, you know what, man? I'm about getting tired of you, and you're about to go to jail, just so you know.
What am I going to jail for?
I'll create something, you understand? You'll go to jail, do you understand that?
I was shocked. I didn't do nothing wrong. You know, I'm a law-abiding citizen.
You can't say that. How are you going to create something? That's against the law.
Illegal? Recording me like that? That's illegal. Without my knowledge, you want to go to jail for that too?
According to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, recording in the station is allowed.
You have a gun on your hip. I'm doing this for my protection.
Please, this is Caroline. Hope, please. You're not starting that here in my lobby.
Sheriff John McMahon released a statement that reads in part, "Since viewing the video, our employee's response to the citizen is not consistent with my expectation of customer service. Additionally, the deputy's responses are not consistent with the interpretation of the law."
That's his way of doing his job. I would like him to be fired.
Now, the Sheriff's Department says they are investigating, and once they're done with their investigation, an appropriate action will be taken.
All right, something I want to point out is that they didn't release this deputy's name, which is some BS to me. Here's a public servant that works for the taxpayers. We pay taxes for these people to work for us, to protect us, to do your job. That's why I will consistently say in black communities, we need black officers that genuinely care for the people. I can't do this at my job. I'll get fired instantly. This guy is still on the job. Also, I want to point this out. The reason they do this is because once you watch Fox News, Bill O'Reilly's going to say, see, blacks commit crimes more higher than whites. See, blacks commit crimes 10 times more than whites.
In addition, a national crime victim survey reported that blacks committed robberies at a rate of 60%. Again, the black community is just 13% of the entire population. So what's the beef? If black Americans are committing crimes out of proportion to other ethnic groups, why is there a racial component to their presence in prison? Why?
Which is total bullshit. This happens every day in the black community. In fact, not even every day, every second in the black community. I know whites think blacks are always race baiting. Now, I hate to pull the race card in a lot of situations. However, huge problem, because this happens so much and blacks can't get out of it. The case will actually stick. Just like in the Sandra Bland case. She done absolutely nothing wrong. This deputy pulled her out the car, slammed her to the ground, and made up a charge. Assault. And it was going to stick. She had a $5,000 bond that she could not come up with and died in prison. Now, and was going to charge her with a felony assault to an officer. This cop, just in this case, was going to create a felony charge probably. And with the public defender or the judge, 100% of the time is going to agree with the deputy, no matter what charge was. And this has been happening to us for absolute years. But when you watch Fox News, what happens? You see Bill O'Reilly and other Fox clowns. See, blacks commit crime 10 times more, 10 times more.
And the reason is overwhelmingly violent crime in this country is generated by young black men.
I watched on the Young Turks about a deputy, about a cop who, out of Baltimore. He was a sheriff in a neighboring county of a black county, and he targeted blacks only. He went into the other county to target blacks, and that was justified because out of the reports, it says that blacks commit crimes more.
Does the fact that reported crime, not convicted crime, reported crime, so overwhelmingly tilts toward African American men?
So it was justified to target blacks more. That's why they put all these charges on blacks and they don't put them on whites. So at the end of the day, when blacks say, hey, it ain't fair that we're being targeted, whites could come back and say, hey, here's the report right here. Blacks commit more crimes. What they don't tell you is that they target blacks 20 times more. That's why they try to justify doing what they do. So they can say, hey, we're not race baiting. We're just proving the facts. We got to target blacks because blacks commit more crime. That's why blacks don't want the feds in Chicago. We know they're going to target blacks 20 times more. They're going to try to justify it because their reports said blacks commit more crimes. But that's not true. Check out how 85% of the drug cases and 85% of the blacks in prison are drug cases. But if you look up, whites use drugs at the same rate as blacks, and whites OD at the same rate as blacks, if not more. But 85% of blacks make up the prison population. And 80% of those cases are drug cases. But you don't see whites making up that prison population. You see blacks. Now, how are they ODing at the same rate, using drugs at the same rate, but we're being arrested 20 times more? Do the math. So, in this particular case, this cop just threatens to make up a charge because he's pissed off. And white people don't understand. Man, it's thousands of people in jail right now, sitting in jail over some stuff they didn't even do. Over some shit that a deputy just made up. Just said, hey, I feel like putting a charge on this man. And it stuck. Now, what happens is that they threaten when you go to court, and if you try to fight it, they're going to give you 10 times worst case. Or they say, hey, I'll give you a plea deal. If you bow down to this charge, we'll give you a year, 2 years, or probation. But you take a felony on your record. And a lot of blacks are like, okay, skip it. We're going to take a felony because you can't afford a $10,000 lawyer to try to fight it. The judge 100% of the time is going to believe the cop. So you got no other choice but to bow down and get a felony on your record. Then when you try to go get a job, see, this person has assault on a police officer, can't hire him. Because blacks don't spend their money in black-owned restaurants to create their own jobs. So we got to go begging white people for jobs, and then they can have a reason to refuse us. Simple. That's why they do what they do. It comes back to black economics. If we shop in our own neighborhoods, create our own jobs, we don't need their jobs. But they'll still arrest us like this. That's why we need black officers in black communities. We do. No question. So, I'm going to keep an eye on this story. I will bring you an update. They haven't released this officer's name. And I hope this officer is fired immediately. I'm so glad now. As a response, what you can do in a situation like this is record it. Record as much as possible. Now that we have cell phones that can record everything, much more of this is being brought to light now. Before cell phones, this was happening. I mean, and they was getting away with it like crazy. So I'm glad social media, glad cell phone is able to capture this stuff. This is nothing new, of course. This is something we go through every day. Our families go through every day, felony charges for nothing. All right, I want y'all to like, share, comment on this video. Peace. I'm out.